There's something magical about setting aside time, 3 to 4 days away with your spouse, where you can relax and have fun and enjoy working on aspects of your relationship that are going to give you a big boost and forward momentum. Welcome to the Get Your Marriage On podcast. I'm your host, Dan Purcell, a Christian marriage and intimacy expert and coach. I'm on a mission to help couples have the best sex and most emotionally intimate marriages possible. Our episodes cover topics you've always wondered about and are packed with practical advice designed to help you take your marriage to the next level. When's the last time you've had a major breakthrough in your marriage or relationship? For me, it was a while ago. I was in a conference room attending another person's retreat with my wife. And some of the things that were said and experiences that other people shared really resonated with me. And in that moment, I kind of felt within my heart, my old beliefs die and something new take its place. And it was really empowering to kind of experience that change. And it made everything that we took to sacrifice to go to that retreat so worth it. And the way it's blessed our marriage since has been fantastic. Breakthrough experiences are exciting. They come time to time when just the setting is right. Now, I'm a big fan of marriage retreats. I've attended many with my wife before, and we put on marriage retreats. And I gotta say, as they say, the teacher learns the most, right? Putting on the retreats, I gain the most, and I feel a lot of changes take place in me, in my marriage and relationship by participating in them and doing them. Now, there's no retreat that's going to be a cure-all, that's going to magically fix everything, because you still got to do the work. And no retreat's going to guarantee that all your marriage problems are going to be solved in one weekend, especially when those problems you've been dealing with for years are so apparent and so ingrained. There's still work to be done, of course, but there's something magical about setting aside time, 3 to 4 days away with your spouse, where you can relax and have fun and enjoy working on aspects of your relationship that are going to give you a big boost and forward momentum. Now, we're going to be offering a marriage retreat in 2024 in March, and it's going to be the only one we'll be offering in this format next year. So if you're on the fence, I hope you choose to commit and sign up for this retreat so you and your spouse can have a wonderful experience. Let me tell you a little bit what it's like. We host it in my hometown, which is St. George, Utah. If you're not familiar with St. George, it's not like other parts of Utah that you might think of around March time where it's snowy and all about skiing. We're in southern Utah. Our climate is similar to Las Vegas or Phoenix. It's sunny here 300 days out of the year, and it's surrounded by red rock mountains, hills, canyons, slot canyons, sand dunes. And this is kind of the environment where we get to go play and enjoy the beautiful outdoors here. In fact, as part of this retreat, we'll spend some time on an adventure, such as ATVing in the desert or canyoneering nearby. This is also the home to Zion National Park, one of the most popular national parks in the country, and it is breathtaking here. And March is usually a fantastic time to visit St. George. So if you're tired of the cold and want to go someplace warm and sunny and exciting and with a very different terrain, St. George should definitely be on your bucket list. Now, I think retreats are best when it's a mix of really powerful instruction, some relaxed downtime, and also some activities. So we take that balance seriously. We rent out an entire villa just for our group. And at this villa, we have multiple swimming pools, hot tubs. There's also even a mini golf course right next door. We also hire our own private chef to come in and cook and take care of all of your meals. And she's excellent. She's a gourmet chef, and she can accommodate any dietary restrictions you might have so no one goes hungry. The room you stay in isn't just like a hotel room, like a Hilton. It's a really nice private room. It's a vacation nightly rental type of a resort. So it has a lot of nice touches and it's a little bit upgraded. In short, you're not in a stuffy conference room at a hotel. This is supposed to be a getaway, not a conference. So it's going to be fantastic in that respect too. The instruction is also going to be top notch. I've brought in Amy Langford and her husband Greg, also Tammy Camp, and others on my staff that are fantastic teachers. So you can hear the same concepts or different concepts taught from a different perspective, and someone might resonate with you better than another. In addition to all of that, doing these retreats for some time, I've learned that couples also want some one-on-one private time with a marriage coach so that they can work on, specifics and go really deep on whatever it is that they feel is getting them stuck in their relationship. So we set aside time so every couple gets an hour with a coach to go as deep as they want to on any topic. We also limit our retreats to just 20 couples, so it's an intimate feeling. Now, 20 seems to be the right balance. If it was too few, then you'd get too much attention on you, and if it's too big, you get lost. So 20 couples seems about right. And it's actually really fun to hear from other couples' experiences. We're all on this journey together, trying to build strong, intimate relationships that last a lifetime and beyond. And so listening to other couples, what they're struggling with or what they've overcome, can actually really help and fortify you and find a lot of answers in that. Now, retreats are a fantastic weekend because it builds a lot of momentum, forward momentum in your relationship. And we don't want it to end there. So when you sign up for our retreats, we give you 6 months of support afterwards. So you attend and you get a follow-up with us, and we follow up with you for 6 months after to help you implement a lot of the tools that you learned at the retreat in your marriage. Today, you get to listen to a few couples that attended our last marriage retreat that we had in October in Dallas, Texas. They get to share their experience with you. You get to learn from them what stood out to them, what were their breakthroughs, and I hope you enjoy this episode. And I highly encourage you to sign up for our retreat. You can find the information at getyourmarriageon.com. Click on Couples Retreat, and it's for next March. Please meet our first couple. I asked them, why did they come to the retreat? And this is what they said.
We've been working on some really challenging and difficult parts of our relationship. And we were at kind of a crossroads or a gridlock where it's like, we need to do something different and make some changes. And so this was one of those opportunities that we've never done before and felt like it was a move forward that could make some change and help us navigate some.
One of the things that we teach at the retreat in the instruction bit is how sexual development is related to adult development and spiritual development, which is kind of a radical concept for a few people. But I really make it easy to understand as I explain it in like a stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 development. And I explain how we are often in stage 1 or 2 and how we want to move to stage 3. This is what this couple said about how that framework really helped them kind of see themselves a lot more clearly and easily, and how that model helped them see their progress in their relationship and what to do next.
Just from day one, the stage 3 framework, I feel like I have made a lot of moves in my life to live within my own integrity and not worry so much about what others think of me. But just hearing in that framework, it really gave me permission, I think, in our marriage to define what that means for myself and for our relationship. And it gave me a lot of hope to be able to write our path and decide what our marriage means for us.
For me, there was just an understanding of areas where I am showing up in ways that aren't helpful, areas where there's patterns that have been written over many years that need to be rewritten or forgotten. And so recognizing those patterns is the first step. And the conversations and the insights from others and just thinking about it and processing it and talking about it through the activities or just writing, it's super helpful. Our private session was good too, because there was opportunity to kind of talk through some things and understand more about how I'm showing up in certain ways to be able to not do that and find new ways to collaborate and grow closer.
I'd say another takeaway I had was just choose your heart. It's hard to, live small beneath your potential. It's also hard and vulnerable to show up in a marriage and try to improve it, but that benefit way outweighs the staying small.
Part of the benefit of attending a retreat is you get to learn things that you don't know. Now, there's things we know, there's things we know we don't know, and there's things we don't know we don't know. Retreats are a great way for you to learn the things you don't know that you don't know, and how to even improve your marriage in things you didn't even knew were possible.
I didn't even know what I didn't know. I thought I kind of figured out, and so we're fine, we're good. And there's so much betterness to be had.
Another thing we teach is how to connect to our emotions better. And I think a lot of men resonate with this part of the retreat, how emotions is really how we connect with another person. But how do you even know what your emotions are? How do you even give them words? How do you even use your emotions to connect when we're so used to cutting off ourselves from our own emotions? This is what this couple said about that part.
More about just all the emotions and emotions that are involved inside of sex and outside of sex. And I've not been super aware of all of that. And so that's something that I want to explore more.
And yes, we do talk a lot about sex at our retreats, but probably not in the way you're used to hearing, like on TV or movies or whatever. We talk about sex as a place to play as adults and how this idea, this concept resonated with a lot of people. We also talk about how sex is inherently a very anxious behavior, and so learning how to tolerate greater exposure and anxiety is necessary to have more fun in sex. So this is what this couple said about their experience learning these concepts.
Yeah, for me, like the idea of a playground never was really in my mind, you know? So thinking about it like that playfulness, bringing that so we can relax and have that time with each other and, you know, just being with each other, having that intimate moment, I think was what I learned is like very crucial for the relationship, I would say.
I think for me, it was that anxiety is the currency for intimacy. I think that was it. Because I've always thought anxiety, okay, let's run. Let's get out here, you know.
And I would say quit standing on the sidelines, get in the game. We come into the weekend on the verge of divorce, and I think we've ended on new beginnings.
An element of the magic of the retreat is meeting other couples and learning from them in informal ways. It's the setting where you realize, hey, we're kind of all in this together, or hey, I've struggled with that, and this is how I overcame that, or this is my struggle. How did you overcome it? And it's these informal settings, laughing together and learning together, that make the retreat really fun. This is what some couples said about how valuable that element was of the retreat for them.
I loved every bit of it. Every single couple, I just have this connection with everyone. It's just amazing. Just connected and we could support each other where we are at.
Dan did a great job at creating this atmosphere and environment for everybody to feel safe and free to share. And I think that's more critical than specifically just, you know, being in a room with other people.
It felt like family. Like we even just recently exchanged numbers or a couple like to meet up. It just felt safe.
We weren't the only ones that have that feeling like, are we the broken couple that's coming here, right? And I think that was on a lot of people's minds. And if you're in that situation, just know that it's a safe space and there's a lot of collaboration and there's a lot of people going through what you're going through, and life doesn't look like it does on social media or even out and about around you. Life is challenging and there's a lot of people that are struggling, but there's a lot of solutions too that we can find.
Really comforting to hear other couples' stories. It helped us feel not so alone, and it gave us great ideas and insights. I think I would have been more embarrassed learning it alone or just privately.
Yeah, you could experience other people's trauma vicariously and be like, oh, I'm glad. You know, that's the fear everybody is like, we're the only ones that have problems. And it's nice to see other people have problems and also have solutions.
You're in a room full of couples, but there's a speaker up front and somebody asks a question and sometimes the answer came from in the group. It was the other couples, well, you know, here's how we've handled this or here's how we've approached that. And so you weren't only getting the expert in the front or the experts in the back, you know, you are also getting just experience from all kinds of different walks of life. Is so great.
Now remember, this isn't a seminar. This is a retreat. We want it to be fun. We want it to be relaxing. We want it to be a time for you to connect and explore and just have a good time together in a supportive environment where you can really grow and develop your relationship. So, of course, we're going to mix it with a lot of fun, sometimes a lot of surprises. Now, at the retreat we did last October, we had dancing and we had a live band play. The one we're doing in St. George in March, we're going to have a mix of different things. So we'd like to mix it up with different kinds of activities. Here's what some couples said about their experience with the various activities we did and kind of the balance between instruction, downtime, and other activities.
The lap dance. It was such a rowdy crew with the guys, and it was just a lot of fun. That, and honestly, just little comments, little moments here and there throughout the sessions.
Yeah, I would just say the little comments and the dance lesson, not the lap dance, but the couples dance lesson. I felt like we were laughing the whole time. So.
I felt like there's a good time for us to kind of come back and talk about some things. Also, just have some time to not talk about some things and just kind of relax or go on a walk. The balance of learning to free time and the entertainment and activities that y'all put together, very impressive. You can tell that there's quality and there's a lot of thought put into it.
I agree with that. I feel like it was a lot packed into a weekend. I'm impressed at how well everything flowed. But it didn't feel too much. It didn't feel rushed. There was really good balance. I think one of the most valuable things that this weekend has given us is just time to focus on just our marriage. There's always so much going on when we're at home in our environment that it's just chaotic and hard to have uninterrupted time to work on our marriage. Just the learnings have been excellent. The instruction has been excellent. The entertainment has been amazing. But just that concentrated time and also the like-minded community that really, I felt like, helped progress our development over the weekend.
As you know from listening to my podcast for a while, you recognize I am a Christian. I believe that sex is a good and beautiful thing and something that God wants us to really partake and fully enjoy in our marriages. And this is really clear in the way the retreat is organized and taught. And this is what one woman said about her take on the content and how we talk about sex at the retreat.
It was also a place that you could come in to find real truth. The world is spewing false doctrine and false behaviors. And I felt so good hearing the truth. And it just resonated with me. And I wanted to hear more. And I wanted to implement it in my life. And I found that here. I felt safe. I felt not conflicted with what was being taught.
I also believe in learning not just from listening and from sharing from other people, but also by doing. So we have a lot of hands-on activities. And one thing we did is dancing. There's so much you can learn about intimacy from learning how to dance. This is what one couple said about that experience.
We love it all. I really particularly love the dance lessons because we've had issues in the dancing department where we'll try to dance together and we could not connect. So we would just drop it and I will be left with the desire of dancing, but I don't want to dance by myself. So it was just weird. And having the dance lessons and him learning some steps with me and having that connection was really good.
Yeah, in those moments, she had the desire to dance. I had the desire to watch.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't pin it to one specific activity personally, from my perspective, but the fact that we were able to get it kinesthetically involved and just connecting with our spouse and doing some of these activities, I saw an increased engagement. And also, I think it was just helped kind of people relax and open up instead of just kind of sitting in more of a sterile environment where you just sit there all day long, you never move. So they made it really engaging.
Listen for what this couple said and describe their experience with the mix of instruction, entertainment, downtime, meeting other couples, and also how they felt about myself and the other coaches invested in everyone's learning.
For me, I'm not very social. And for me to feel comfortable being in the environment and the topics that we talked about was obvious an insight to you guys that for the presenters and making us all feel comfortable and entertained. And food was great. The entertainment was awesome. And all of you were very welcoming.
I would want to add too, like, we can feel the love you guys have for the work you do. Plus, you guys express that you loved all of us, even though like we met online, but that's a very different setting than in person. And I would say, like, for me, I felt that. I'm sure everybody else did because everybody just seemed at ease and it didn't feel awkward or uncomfortable at all. Although I thought it would be.
Yes, yeah.
But it wasn't once we got here.
We all want to build stronger, intimate relationships that will last a lifetime. How to do that, the specifics of what to do, how to find where you're stuck in your relationship, where your resistance is, and how to push through it for breakthroughs is really what we talk a lot about at the retreat. Listen to how one couple described the instruction and how we talk about the delicate topic about sex and recognizing that everyone there is probably at a different stage or a different level. Yet, there's something in it for everyone where they can learn something to adapt right into their relationship right away.
I just loved being able to build those relationships with people, but also like the teaching was so solid. It was like, like the next thing. It was like the right order to receive information to help people kind of work through everything that they're kind of dealing with. So I think that order was the right order for making people receptive and helping them feel comfortable.
We have a lot of experience talking about it, but I'm always very aware of like the mood in the room. And I never felt like there was a moment where it was, oh no, are we going to talk about this? Because of that journey that we went from one step to another, one level to another. By the time we were broaching the topics that 2 days ago would have been, are we going to go there? We just walked right in, and just everybody was able to share, and people asked some really good questions that you don't bring up in Sunday school, but this is the time and the place for it.
I thought it was great that people were so open because so often they're not. And I felt like it was really awesome for them to be able to just ask questions, to say something very specific about what we deal with, how we're handling it, and that person's feedback, what's helped them, or, oh, we dealt with that too. So like that level of openness was really surprising to me because in general, people get very tense if you're talking about this. Yeah. But then we even had the ability to just joke about it, not like in a bad way, but in like a fun, hey, we all came here to do this.
We're all adults and we all do this.
So
and
why
some of it's
not?
Funny.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of my interviews with these couples that attended the retreat was really unscripted. And I just asked them, if someone's like on the fence thinking about coming, they're not quite sure, what advice would you give them? And this was their response.
Just lean into it. Lean into the opportunity, even if it's outside your comfort zone, and even if it's not something you're particularly fond of or used to, because those are real growth moments.
You are hopefully in a marriage that you want to be in forever. And why not invest the energy and effort it's going to take to make that marriage amazing? To want to be in it forever. And this is a great tool. Put this tool in your toolbox. Don't put it off.
I would say if someone's considering something like this, then I think the reason that you're considering it is reason enough to go. I would say at minimum, just give it a shot, do it once, and it's only going to help you.
Sign up, come. There were at least 2 couples that said they weren't sure that they were going to come. We had a couple that showed up and literally almost backed out after showing up. Yeah. And then said, we're so glad we stayed. Everyone who came said that they were not only glad they were here, they were going to invite their friends. Somebody said they were going to send their daughter and her husband. If you're on the fence, sign up and show up and tell us if we're wrong.
Do it. If you don't think your spouse would want to come, ask them, because I never in a million years thought Brett would ever come to anything like this.
Yeah. Don't walk, run, jump.
It's hard, fun.
And we're all screwed up, so come. It will be better.
Even if you don't attend the Get Your Marriage On retreat, I hope you are inspired by this podcast to set aside some time in 2024 for you and your spouse just to get away, kind of create a little bit of structure and just to enjoy some time together for you to grow together as a couple. Grow your marriage, invest in each other, and learn how to be a better couple and better happiness. Here's what some couples said as they're leaving about just one final word about their experience as you contemplate signing up for the Get Your Marriage On retreat in March.
Mind altering.
Yeah, expanding.
I don't want to say amazing because that's cliche.
Exciting.
A journey. Yeah.
Life changing.
I would say expensive. Like that's what the word that kept sticking out to me.
Revolutionary, I would say.
Insightful. I learned some things that I would not have considered for sure. And I think that's going to be very valuable moving forward in the future.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. Thanks for listening to this podcast. Thank you for downloading our apps like Intimately Us and Just Between Us. Thank you for everything you're doing now to promote more goodness in your relationship. And thank you for sharing all of this with your married friends. I promise they will thank you for life. I hope to see you at our upcoming retreat in March in beautiful, sunny, and warm St. George, Utah. More details are available on our website at getyourmarriageon.com and click on Couples Retreat. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you're interested in accelerating growth in your marriage, either sexually, emotionally, or spiritually, I want to invite you to work with me in my affordable coaching program called Next Level. More information about Next Level and my fun and sexy apps for couples are available at getyourmarriageon.com. Please also don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss a single episode. And be sure to tell your married friends. I promise they will thank you for life. Now go get your marriage on.